people all the time, I came into the culinary world in a really interesting way because I started off as a colon therapist. And okay, and so I really got to see what goes on with people's bodies from the back end, you know what I'm saying? Literally. And so in my experience, I got into colon therapy because around maybe 19, 20 years old, I kind of got to a place in my life where I was really fed up with the people around me dying or being bedridden, sick, on medications, surgeries. It just seemed like everybody around me was dropping or going through some illness in my family and amongst my friends and their families. And I said, you know, it seems like everyone's sick. And I really got fed up, and I decided to do some research. And what kept coming up for me was that we were full of parasites and toxins from things mostly that we were eating. Okay. So I thought, oh my God, I've got to go get a colonic and try to clean myself up. And through that experience, I said, okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford this, because people don't know it, but the average person actually needs about 10 to 15 colonics to really start a thorough cleanse. Okay, so people assume they can just go in there, squish, squash, and it's over, and they're good. But that's just not the case. So that really was my beginnings in finding out more about how to really clean my body, what things I could do to then maintain my health after getting rid of all the toxins and all the parasites. So it's taken me on now a lifelong journey.
Well, now let me tell you guys, once she really gets into this sister can go so deep. So I want to tell you how you're going to find her, because you're going to need to go to the website. You're going to need to get the book so that you can start implementing this stuff. Go to GoChefAki.com or thefreshtribe.com to find out more about her. Of course, you know, email her, tell her you want to see her at the Nubian Essence Luxury Retreat, because we're trying to get her there. I also want to let you guys know about her book, Delicious Indigenous Presents Electric, The Modern Guide to Hybrid and Wild Foods, The Fibroid Elimination Guide, and then she's going to help you cleanse your cells. This is what it looks like to me. So she's gonna have a blend of herbs for detox and cleansing. So I call her Dr. Chef Aki. I'm sorry. So, Dr. Chef Aki, can you please?
I'll take it.
Can you please kind of talk to us about your philosophy on the diet? Some of the things we can find that's behind your cookbooks and your new product for detox and cleansing.
Sure. Well, you know, my philosophy is something that really birthed out of studying the elders before me. Okay. And so much of that wisdom, even from just my grandmother, you know, some of the things that she taught, I think, without really knowing what she was passing on. But one of the things that she always did, no matter what we were eating, whether it was pork chops or roast beef, she would always keep something raw and fresh available. It would be chopped cucumbers and tomatoes with every meal, things like that. You know, maybe it was some sauerkraut or, you know, relish or something, pickled things. She would always have something fresh available. And she ate a lot of wild foods. You know, where I grew up, my grandparents gardened. So about 80% of everything that they ate came out of the backyard. They simply could not afford to go to the market every other week for groceries. So they were literally eating out of the backyard or from wild bushes. We had wild berries, we had wild pears, we had persimmons, we had so many beautiful things. Wild poke salad. I know some of y'all know about poke salad down here in the South. So many wild foods that just grew around me. Growing up, I was able to enjoy and partake in those things and really taste what real food tastes like. And so that really has also set the foundation for a lot of my philosophy. But it really started to come to fruition once I started to listen to the teachings of Dr. Sebi. And I know we got a lot of Sebi babies out there now. May he rest in peace. Sebi has been very influential in my path, and many others. But Sebi was one of the first people to say we need to eat electric foods. And so eating electric food simply means that you are eating food that has been sitting out and absorbing sunlight. And then in essence, when you eat that food, you also are not just getting nutrition from the plant, but you're getting that source of sunlight into your body, which essentially we're all electrical beings. So Sebi was the first person to say we're all electrical. So in essence, we don't just need foodstuffs, we need electricity for the body to function at its optimal rate. So that for me has always been my philosophy, is to move kind of from this plant-based diet into a more of an electrical alkaline diet, because there are a lot of food traps, and you know what I'm talking about, and I know several of your viewers know what I'm talking about, is that, you know, you go vegan, next thing you know, you're 20 pounds bigger than you were before that.
Yeah. When I became vegan, what I would be eating is baked potatoes, you know, macaroni and cheese. Long as it didn't have meat in it, I ate it at first. And then even getting deeper, your tofus, your soy tofus, your all of these things. But I ran into Dr. Sebi and I was hearing his message and I really liked it. But the problem for me was I just couldn't figure out how to take you know, maybe broccoli or Brussels sprouts and Swiss chard and make a meal. And then I ran into you and it was like vegan, well, let's not say vegan, let's say electric soul food. And I tell you, with a son, 2 sons and a husband and myself, I've learned how to make foods that we as a community really like, flavors and really comfort type foods.
Yes.
With that list. And I love how you had said at one point, really the only thing I'm taking from you is like, what, 3 or 4 different meats, but a lot of other things are added. And I swear she's introduced me to at least 10 new foods that either I've never heard of or I've never cooked.
Wow.
And then I want you to talk about the term that I heard from you, phototropic. So that's in line with what you're talking about electric, because some people don't even understand, like, what's electric, what's hybrid, what are we like not, what are we trying to eat?
Yes, yeah, you know, that's a good point. You know, I talk about this in the electric book, how similar to photosynthesis with plants, this is the process in which they are able to assimilate light and life through absorbing light, sunlight. So for a plant, they're getting their nutrition through absorbing sunlight, whereas particularly melanated peoples, we particularly need vitamin D and sunlight, unlike any other being on the planet, because of that chemical affinity that Sebi would always talk about that we have with the sun. Melanated people actually need more more sunlight than other peoples on this planet. And that's something that it's interesting to see. Darker peoples today, they tend to run away from the sun. They don't want to get too dark, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so they don't want to get too dark. And I find this really interesting, and I say, no, you're going to end up with bone deficiencies. You're going to end up with all sorts of issues if you don't get actually more sunlight. People got to remember, African people spend about 90% of the day outside.
Wow.
So we're spending most of that time now in a home and with very, very minimal sunlight. How does that affect the mind, the spirit, the body, your digestion, your nervous system? We really don't think about how it affects us. So this philosophy of eating electric or eating an alkaline diet, it's really about your relationship to the sun and how your body, especially as a melanated being, making you phototropic, because you are eating sunlight and your body naturally eats sunlight and processes sunlight into nutrition. You actually need more sunlight. And if you're not able to get that through actually being outside as much as you should, then you need to try to absorb it through your foods.
Wow. And so, you know, a lot of people, because I deal with women's platforms and women's discussions, they'll come to me and they have these same issues. And I want to know from you, as I list these off, do you think that these are affected and can And can you see some relief from your diet? And if so, how do you begin the transition process? So what I hear about is, of course, diabetes, high blood pressure, infertility. A lot of people are contacting me talking about they have problems with weight loss and weight management, keep having their tummy flat, stress, and things like that. There's more. Of course, you have the fibroid elimination diet, so we know that that's a major issue. So can you speak to some of that and how, electric diet might be a good solution in that situation? And if so, how do you begin to live that lifestyle?
It's really challenging, I think, especially for Black women, because most of the times we are the breadwinners in our families. We're taking care of lots of people, all right? And we feel, with the matrix, it's like we've got the world on our back. So, half the time we'll wake up and we'll get right to taking care of everyone else before we take care of ourselves, okay? So this is one of the first things, is that we kind of have to get back to just that self-care. And I can see the movement happening, like self-care is like a big hashtag right now. And women are certainly moving more in this direction. But I encourage women to start prioritizing themselves. That's number one. Number two, when taking on a diet like this, first of all, coming from a sad, conventional, standard diet, it's already difficult to go into a plant-based diet, even if it's going to be tofu or whatever you're going to eat, right? Typical carbs, whatever. That can already be difficult for women who really, really crave meat and dairy. Okay, that's really the kicker. Oftentimes is the dairy, but then getting rid of the sugars, getting rid of the carbs, that takes it to another level, and then on into mostly raw foods, which is in the fibroid elimination recipe guide. And although it says fibroid elimination, mind you, it's not just for women with fibroids. This is for women dealing with endometriosis, PCOS, breast cancer, you name it. All these things have excess estrogen at their core. So in moving into a diet like this, you have to have support. It's not something that you usually can just pick right up and do and go cold turkey. My suggestion is that women take 90 days of focused effort and get with a community of other women, whether it's virtual, whether it's women in the office. Because once you open up about this, you start to find out that just about everybody is dealing with something similar. 1 in 3 women are dealing with fibroids or reproductive disorders. So I think the more that we open up about this, especially to women in our immediate communities or our virtual communities, we can start to have the support, which is why I started the freshtribe.com, also the 90-day fibroid elimination campaign, which women can join us in Hope Beyond Fibroids program. We have a program where we take women through the mental, the spiritual, the physical components of how to overcome something like fibroids and how to get into this diet, because at the end of the day, you can read all the books, I can tell you what to eat, but you have got to know how to go home and incorporate that into a real lifestyle. So one of the things I tell women to do also is take some of the foods that you already really enjoy cooking, that you feel like you're comfortable cooking, you know how to eat, and just switch out some of those ingredients. You've got to have some good alternatives. If you love butter, for example, we all do, well then get rid of the cow's milk butter and the conventional butter and try some coconut butter. Try coconut oil, start to use your avocado oil, your walnut oil and things like that. If you really, really love sugars, well then in that case, let's start using dates in some of these dishes. Let's start trying things like your coconut nectar or your palm sugars and things like that. And just finding healthy alternatives really is my specialty, because I'm always experimenting with food. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not playing with food and experimenting with food. So that's always my goal, is to share recipes through GoChefAki.com blog. And then I go live in the Fresh Tribe just saying, hey guys, look, I'm playing with this recipe, and I like to show people what I'm doing through my Instagram stories. So, it's challenging, yes. But if you have a support system and you make a goal. You set a goal, just like with any other goal in your life. You have to set a goal for the care of your womb and for your body. It's going to make a better you and a better outcome in the end.
Wow, I like what you said about the support, because again, for me, you know, sometimes we'll be independent to a fault. You know, like, oh, I can do it. Oh, I can figure it out. Oh, I can research it. Oh, I can DIY it myself, you know? And so the thing for me was, I had known a lot about diet. I learned about Dr. Sebi. Like I said, I had been eating a vegetarian diet, but all of a sudden I crashed. I mean, it wasn't like anything happened to me. It was just like all of a sudden I was just extreme fatigue, extreme. And you know, when you have, I'm a homeschooling mom, I'm a businesswoman, and I have a flourishing career, and I have a wonderful husband. It was just like, whatever, y'all can, I don't know what's gonna happen to you guys right now, because I just cannot get up. I can't get excited. I had no vibrancy. So the thing was, I had learned about your retreat like right before my birthday. And I said, you know what? It's like 2 days before the retreat, I'm gonna go. And I was like, well, do you have to like detox? Because I mean, I want the chef to like be cooking me some, you know, some tofu chicken or something.
Yes,
so,
yes.
So I went with it, and I tell you that she made the most wonderful, you would think she made a 5-course meal out of these smoothie drinks and tonics. And she took us to the store and showed us how to eat foods that I have never seen before. It looked like dinosaur eggs and all of, and now I tell you, I'm so good for the last, since I think it's been about 3 months. And I have totally changed everything around. From I was just suffering from a lot of things. You know, we all have those cycle issues. We have those, I had issues with my skin. I also, the energy thing was a big thing to me, because a lot of us are out here, we're like, listen, we're going to get our economics right this year. We want to, you know, and even family relationships, when you're cranky, when you're tired, you can't love on your family the way you want to. And that was like really hurting me. So, you know, I think some of the top tips that I got from Chef Aki and other people that I was learning from was, number one, like she said, take time for yourself. I had to invest in myself to go to that retreat. But that support that was around me helped me to really go to the next level and hear from other people on ways that I could incorporate these things into my life. Because I'm looking at these lists like, dang, I mean, I gotta cook in 5 minutes now, come on. And so then the water supplements, some of the smoothies that you make and you have in your book that allows us to get those nutrients really quick. And even pass them on to the family, and then kind of be all right to kind of think through some things. Also, the shopping regimen that you shared with us, and even in the Fresh Tribe, you share a lot of meal planning and shopping guides, because you need to get in that produce and that grains and seeds section. Just leave all the rest of it out there. Just leave it. You know? And so I just want to share a couple of those personal tidbits, because a lot of times people will see somebody like Chef Aki, like, oh, you're beautiful, of course. All you had to do was snap your fingers and you were your kids were this and everything was perfect. But coming from a working woman, I was able to do it, and I love it, and it changed my life. Now, back to you, Chef Aki. Can you just talk a little bit about detox? You have the your new supplements that are coming out. Can you talk about the importance of detox and how people can get started?
You know, I am so excited, Shakita, about this detox. And let me just tell you why. So, you know, for the last, I'd say, maybe 8 years, my daily supplement has been Dr. Sebi Cell Food products. I love taking, really all of his products have been really, really wonderful, and I found them to work very well. But, you know, after his passing and, you know, a lot of the conflict that's been going on just between the different sectors of his family, there's been a lot of confusion And unfortunately, when I get all these emails flooding and all my DMs saying, Chef Aki, can we still trust this product? Should we still purchase this product? The truth is, I can't answer to that. I cannot tell you. All I know is that, you know, that our beloved brother is gone. And I don't know, you know, whose all hands is in that basket, making sure that those products get out and that those products stay at the same quality. So instead of me going over and over and over in my mind, trying to figure out how I can make sure that things are working, you know, on his end, let me just step up and make sure that I can provide something so that people can truly have a good, thorough detox that they can trust. So it really started, in essence, for me finding things for myself and my family, because my ABCs is always be cleansing, always be cleansing, right? So even though I've been on this lifestyle now for about 20 years, I'm always in need of cleansing. You know, I could go out of town for the weekend and I end up eating up some things that I shouldn't be eating. So I'm going to come home and I need my herbs. So it's a lifestyle. So I took several trips to the Bahamas with my husband because Sebi had some distributors there for about 12 years that he was working with in the Caribbean. There are certain parts of the Caribbean islands that are really untampered with, untouched, that are just the herbs, the sea moss, everything there is phenomenal. I'm talking wild cactus, I'm talking everything. I mean, when I got there for the first time and I had a green juice, it was like nothing I had ever tasted. My cells immediately lit up. And I was like, what is in this? This is not kale. This is not American soil green product. And they said, oh, this is wild cactus. This is wild thyme. This is Spanish basil. This is all these amazing herbs that they have access to. So I was blown away by the quality of the sea moss, by the quality of the herbs, the cactus, all the things that they had. So we've been working for about 2.5 years now to establish relationships with our partners in Bahamas so that we could make this product available in the US. And we have finally arrived. We finally got our first shipment and we are ready to supply the States with this product. The kit, the detox kit that we have available has 3 different dietary supplements that you would take daily. We've got, of course, the sea moss. The sea moss is considered the nourisher. And then we've got the green food. The green food is considered the replenisher. And then, of course, we've got the ultimate cell cleanse that you see here. Now, the ultimate cell cleanse is very, very special because it has several different wild indigenous organic herbs in it, straight from the Caribbean, that acts immediately. I mean, it's one of those things where you take 3 of those tablets, you drink your water, and I mean, not even 8 to 12 hours, it's like, uh-oh, you know something's going on. So it's gonna kick in and it's going to work. I've been taking it now for a couple years, so I cannot tell you, like, I wanted to come up with something that you could take that wouldn't be so disgusting in your mouth that you would want to keep taking it, you know what I'm saying? So look, I know everybody's still mad at me about EOB, like, can you please come out with a pill version because it's so disgusting, right? So now you're able to get your pills conveniently and available. So I'm so excited. This product will launch at GoChefAki.com in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And we've already got our first shipment. So we're just getting everything ready for our marketing. And I am so excited. But the importance, I think people don't realize, you really need to cleanse at least 4 times a year, but you should always be cleansing. So when I say a detox, I'm talking about like a thorough fast where you go from maybe a regular plant-based diet now into a liquid fast. You know, you can go from a plant-based cooked diet into a raw food fast. So just no cooked foods. And this can be very, very powerful just to flush your body. It really recalibrates everything. When you see people 14 days later, they look younger, they have more energy, their skin is beautiful because you're cleaning your blood, your kidneys, your liver. You know, I know a lot of vegans that like to drink, you know what I'm saying? So even if you're vegan, you may still drink alcohol, which is awful on your kidneys and your liver, your blood, your lymphatic system. So this is very, very important to detox because you really want to give your body a rest and a reset at least every season, as the seasons change, you want to do this for yourself. If you can do it more often, but that would be my suggestion, is that you at least do it 4 times a year.
Wow. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. If you are addicted to life, like really living, really being present, really being alive, really getting out here and getting it, you're going to be addicted to Dr. Chef Aki's products and things. And I was just laughing when she talked about the detox, because I went to her detox. And honey, you better watch. If she brings you a cup like this, you better get ready. Okay? and I mean, we talk a lot about vegan meal prep and eating and how to feed people and what groceries to buy, but those herbs, see, I had to really get a new appreciation for what food was. All around us are these plants, okay? And they are food, you know, because I would go into my kitchen, and if I don't see like certain foods, I'm like, it's nothing here. My husband's like, we just spent X amount at the grocery store. What do you mean it's nothing? I had to get in the habit of seeing some of these foods you introduced to me as, oh, I can mix this together. I can mix that together. I can make this. I mean, this is a woman who made a chocolate cake, people, without chocolate, without eggs. You don't really understand. Like, I'm bringing people who I have tried and used to help me really fulfill, optimize everything in my life. And you know, if you can make a chocolate cake without chocolate and eggs and butter and sugar, and it tastes amazing, like God, that's why she has to be at this retreat. And another thing, you know, again, go to Nubian Essence luxuryretreat.com. The reason why I was so inspired by Dr. Chef Aki, her retreat, her products, her books, is, for one thing, I feel bad when I know I'm poisoning my family member. And they get mad when I'm like, Grandma gonna poison you, don't eat that. Like, no, but literally, I feel like I'm poisoning you, my husband, my kids. I want you guys to be around. And as a community, we can't be having these get-togethers and poisoning one another. You know, we have to take our health so seriously. We can't overcome oppression. We can't overcome obstacles in our lives if we are not mentally sharp, because parasites are eating our brains and we didn't even know that there were parasites in our brains. You know, we have to be scientific about the way that we eat. And the thing is, again, the detox retreat, or ours is the business and wellness retreat. It has components to it, because like she's saying, okay, yeah, learn how to eat healthy foods, but also self-care, being very focused about what you're doing, understanding how to incorporate these things, as well as taking some time to fast and detox and get out in the sun and exercise. When you do this with a group of people, it's some way, it's the synergy or something. You know, when you get serious Black women, people who embrace their Blackness, their melanin together, there is some kind of energy or something that changes the world, changes your life. And that's what I experienced. You want to speak more on that type of thing, and detox and getting together and all of that stuff? You know, Chef Aki, I mean, we could talk to her for months. She is very deep. Like, go ahead.
Yes. Well, you know, this to me, there's no more important conversation than what we're talking about right now. Because at the end of the day, like you said, we pass down our habits to our families. So either what you're giving them is something that's going to help them to be well, or it's going to poison them and make them very sick, and you're going to have to pay for that on the back end. So you can pay for it on the front end, or you can pay for it on the back end. And it's really about priorities. You know, it becomes a matter of what you value in your life, right? So, you know, I have several clients. I say all the time, I have several clients who you go to their homes, they've got the Gucci, Louis, Prada, Fendi's, whatever, but you go in their fridge and it's ramen noodles and Kool-Aid, okay? So something's off here with priorities, with value, okay? So if you don't value your temple, your body, your mind, which is your future, okay, just as much as you value the things that you put on your body, you gotta appreciate what's inside of your body, okay? Or you won't have a body.
Right.
So, you know, at the end of the day, our whole culture has to start to embrace wellness. And again, I am seeing this in ways that I've never seen before. And I've been on the internets preaching this gospel now for almost 10 years. So I know that I have a big hand in it, because my goal from the very first day was to make sure that I not only made this culturally palatable, because when I started chefaki.com, eating vegetables wasn't swag. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't cool. It wasn't fresh. It wasn't a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? So now you got vegan rappers, you know, who are going on tours, and, you know, and they're putting out fitness albums and Netflix movies, and, you know, you're seeing all these major rappers and actors and actresses now, people in the hip hop community. Now you've got Hip Hop Goes Green and all this stuff. So this thing has really taken off culturally. And I like to say that I've had a huge hand in it, because I started off with that in mind, and making sure that I would make videos and make memes and make posts and put out images that were powerful and that would speak not only to the people who wanted to get healthier, the granola community, the tree hugging community, right? But that would speak to our community. And at the end of the day, we like to be fresh, we like to be cool, we like to be clean. So we want to, you know, we want to be able to know that we can still be cool and drink our green juice. And for me, that's always been the case. I remember some of my first images, I may have had a green juice and I was cooking in my Nikes, and I was, you know what I mean, with my dreadlocks and, you know, that whole thing. So I always, you know, I would put hip hop in the background, because that's real life. So I think that this is happening, and I think that our communities are really waking up. But there's just no more important conversation, because while we're waking up, there are still industries that are pushing to bring us down. I was listening to a song yesterday, I think it may have been like the Migos, and they were saying that, I think they said something like, I'm popping pills with my grandmother. Okay, so this is something that the sickness is being passed down, because the grandparents and the parents are on so many medications because of their illnesses, that the kids now are getting a hold of their drugs, okay? And the kids are taking their drugs, and sometimes the grandmother, maybe she has Alzheimer's, maybe she, you know, doesn't always know how many pills that she has. She's going and getting, you know, her pill, re-upping on her pills, and her grandson's out there popping pills, Percocets and whatever, okay? So at the same time that the community is getting enlightened, the community also has to fight that battle that we're dealing with, especially in the hip hop community, and also just in more impoverished communities where people don't believe that they can see a way out of that poverty when it comes to health. They believe that getting sick is normal. They believe that it's too expensive to eat healthy, okay? Whereas we know even the average girl or boy in the ghetto is going to have a brand new pair of Nikes on, a brand new pair of, you know, jeans on, Forever 21s and 21, what do you call it? Religions? What do you call it?
Religions?
Yeah, the true religions, and you know, right? So, you know, again, if you are in a position where you can give your children the latest clothes, then there's no reason that you cannot make sure that your children get educated and learn how to feed themselves properly. You have to really invest in your community, your local gardeners, your local co-ops, okay? And a lot of these foods on Dr. Sebi's list, it may seem foreign to you, because we have been so far removed from our indigenous food. But the truth is, the food actually is indigenous to our original culture. So that's something I found really to be beautiful, and maybe Shakita has experienced this as well, is tapping back into some of those indigenous foods also. There's an ancestral connection there when you're making tamarind, when you're making your chayote, you know, when you're getting into making your fonio and all these things. There's so many plantains and all these things. There's so many beautiful foods that our ancestors have been eating for centuries. You know, and this is how they were able to stay well. But when we were colonialized, you know, oftentimes our oppressors took those things for themselves, okay? And when you go to these countries to this day, third world countries, you see them selling all the beautiful coconut, all the beautiful fruits, and then they go home and they eat rice, corn, and beans, okay? And that's the food that they're surviving on, but it's killing them, and they're barely making it while they're selling their best foods to other places, over to Europe and to the States. So while you're complaining about your $3 mango, you know what I'm saying? There are people over there that they wish they could afford to eat that mango. They have to sell it just to survive, okay? So again, we have to reprioritize, and we've got to get back in the kitchen, sisters and brothers, but get back in the kitchen, sisters, because I see a lot of us, we're so career-minded, you know what I'm saying, that we've kind of forgotten the power in the black girl magic that we have in that kitchen. So, yeah. You know, you have an issue in your relationship, get still and be quiet. Go make a meal. See what happens. Get still and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And my sister's shaking her head because she knows what I'm talking about. But it's very, very true. I don't know if I'd be married today if I didn't know how to cook a meal. So that's something that our mothers haven't been passing on to their daughters anymore, because they just been telling them to go to college, get an education, and think about that later. And then later comes, and you meet your husband, and you over there competing with a sister. You got stovetop stuffing and hamburger helper, and you competing with a sister that's making his favorite. You know?
Girl, look, I can't with Dr. Chef Aki today, because I'm telling you, y'all don't even realize. That's what I'm saying. You guys come to this retreat. Go to GoChefAki.com, and I just don't. We could talk for a long time. I just want to give a summary real quick on a few things that you hit on, and I'm going to give you some last word, give you some time to say some last words to take us out of here. And I just thank you so much for your time. But you said like two things. You talked about some of the clients you had, and I mean, you know, she's a celebrity chef. When I say celebrity, it's just all understated right here. Just dig a little bit more, guys. So listen, you talked about, you know, being around, you know, material wealth, and you talked about some of the obstacles we still face in our community. And I remember my husband talking to me, and I think I even saw it myself, where Steve Jobs, when he was very close to death, saying that everything I did with Apple, that iPod, that iPad, all of that, it doesn't mean anything right now, that I don't even, you know, I'm on my way out of here. You know what I'm saying? So your health is your wealth, people. You know, we just get so far away from that. We talk about, oh, money over everything, oh, cryptocurrency, or what. You can't do, if you're on the operating table, what you gonna do? What you gonna buy? What you gonna put on? You have on no clothes and they cutting you wide open. Then you talked about obstacles. We don't understand that the one of the biggest obstacles we face when we're talking about living and thriving is some of these patented diseases and some of these medical apartheid type of traps that are available to us. You know, I talked to someone who had like 4 or 5 people in their family last year that was either diagnosed with breast cancer, some form of cancer. And I learned from you at your retreats that there's like, and you can give the exact number if I have it wrong, like 600,000 or so hysterectomies performed every year, and 70% of them are on Black women. I mean, you think Planned Parenthood is doing something before you can even get to Planned Parenthood, you done lost your entire damn womb? Really? You know what I'm saying? You're going to these doctors and they're putting stuff like literally, I mean, if you are like a church going person, didn't they tell you don't let nobody insert something in you and just leave it there? And you go to the doctor and let them put this stuff inside of you. And you know, like Dr. Chef Aki said, we can't raise our kids like this. We cannot allow our next generation of girls to be attacked in their womb, to be attacked in their breasts, you know, and not tell them what's up. And that's why we have to get together and really pass down the ancient African secrets. Forget the Chinese secret. You need to get that African secret and learn, you know, what you need to do. So listen, I'm not going to go there with y'all because it's just too much. But Chef Aki, can you just wrap it up for us? It's out of love that you have these two women sitting here, because we want to see you be healthy. We want to see you be vibrant. We want you to see you be innovative in your thinking. And you can't do that if you sitting up there on a diet of hot Cheetos. Go ahead.
That's it. You know, my closing thought would be, and I think especially for this platform, Shakita, is that, you know, progress economically is futile if you do not take care of your health, okay? Because you can get to wherever your station is that you're going in life, you can make all the investments and reap all the wealth and benefits that, you know, from those endeavors. But like you said with Steve Jobs and so many others, that at the end of the day, if you are not able to enjoy the quality of your life, we're all gonna go someday, but if you're not able to enjoy the quality of your life to where you can pass those things on to others, and while you're here, to have clear mind, clear energy, clear spirit, you have all of your faculties and your functions, and you don't have to suffer physically while you're here, then why not do that? Why not make the effort? So I encourage everyone. I'm so impressed with Shakita and what her family has done, and I really commend her, and I encourage everyone who's watching on this platform to take a moment and find your support system. And if you need support, please join us at thefreshtribe.com. We do regular courses and workshops to help people to make the transition easier. And we have several different classes. We've got detox herbs. We've got everything that you need to make this transition. So please join us at thefreshtribe.com, and you can find products and more recipes at gochefaki.com. And I look forward to meeting with or consulting all of you, and hopefully seeing you at Nubian Essence this year.
All right, guys, listen, we love you. I hope that this was informative, inspiring, and encouraging. Listen, I have to talk to Chef Aki every day, because every time I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to eat, when I'm meal planning, I'm going in these books, and I'm like, okay, let me see what we're going to eat, babies. Hold on, y'all. So listen, you guys get your books or whatever you need to do, and get it together. It's 2018. We're going to do a new thing.